It was a bright and sunny morning on January 26th, 1966, Australia Day. The Beaumont household in Adelaide was filled with excitement as Jane, Arnna, and Grant prepared for a fun day at Glenelg Beach. Jane, at 9 years old, was the responsible older sister. Arnna, just 7, was spirited and full of energy, while little Grant, only 4, trailed after his sisters with boundless enthusiasm. Nancy Beaumont watched them pack their belongings: towels, sunscreen, and a little change for snacks. "Be home by 2 o'clock," she reminded Jane with a smile. It was a routine trip, one they had made many times before, and Nancy felt no reason to worry. The bus stop was just a short walk from their house, and Glenelg Beach was a bustling, friendly place. As the bus pulled away, Nancy waved, watching her children disappear down the road. She had no way of knowing that it would be the last time she'd see them. At the beach, by mid-morning, the Beaumont children arrived at Glenelg Beach, their favorite spot. Witnesses later recalled seeing the 3 siblings laughing and playing in the shallow waves. Jane kept a watchful eye on her younger siblings, ensuring they stayed close. But then, something unusual happened. A man, a tall, blond stranger, joined the children. He looked to be in his 30s, tanned, with a thin face. He seemed friendly and approachable, chatting with the children as though they knew him. Witnesses said he played games with them and even helped them purchase snacks using a 1-pound note, an odd detail since Nancy had only given them enough small change for the bus fare and a treat. Later that day, the man was seen walking away from the beach with the children. Jane held her siblings' hands as they followed him, their faces filled with trust. As 2 p.m. came and went, Nancy began to worry. It wasn't like Jane to be late, especially with her siblings in tow. By 3 p.m., anxiety gripped her. Jim Beaumont, the children's father, arrived home from work, and together they searched the streets, checking the bus stop and asking neighbors if they had seen the children. By evening, the panic was unbearable. Nancy called the police. The investigation began immediately. Glenelg Beach, normally filled with laughter and sunshine, became the center of a frantic search. Officers combed the sand for clues, interviewed witnesses, and questioned bus drivers. The sightings of the blond man became the focal point of the investigation. Who was he? How had he earned the children's trust? Despite the detailed descriptions from witnesses, no one could identify him. As days turned into weeks, hope began to fade. The Beaumont children had vanished without a trace. No belongings, no footprints, and no sign of where they might have gone. The mystery of the Beaumont children's disappearance gripped the nation. Some believed the children had been abducted by a predator, lured away by the promise of fun or treats. Others suggested the blond man had been watching the children for weeks, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. More chilling theories emerged over the years, linking the case to other child abductions and even possible trafficking rings. Excavations were conducted at suspected burial sites decades later, but nothing was ever found. Nancy and Jim Beaumont were devastated. Their once happy home became a place of sorrow and unanswered questions. Though they clung to hope in the early years, the strain of their loss eventually became too much, and they separated. The disappearance of Jane, Arnna, and Grant left a permanent scar on Australia. Parents grew more protective, and the carefree days when children could roam freely seemed to disappear along with the Beaumont siblings. Today, the story of the Beaumont children remains one of Australia's most haunting unsolved mysteries. Their names are etched into the country's collective memory, a symbol of innocence stolen in broad daylight. And somewhere, in the echoes of a summer long past, 3 children still laugh and play by the sea, their footprints fading with the tide.